Hey, what is up, guys? It's Brendan here, and today we're going to be comparing Ecwid versus WooCommerce. Which is the better e-commerce platform for your specific needs? And really, what is the difference between WooCommerce and Ecwid? How do they stack up against each other? And which is really the best platform for you to use with your online store? Now, before we dive into things, I do want to mention if you don't already have an e-commerce store and you're deciding between these two, you can go and check out those first links down in the description box below. First one is brandvalesky.com/Ecwid. That will take you right over to this page here. If you do want to get set up with Ecwid, you can get started for free with Ecwid. Again, that's that link down in the description box below, brandvalesky.com/Ecwid. If you want to get started with WooCommerce, you can go ahead and check out that link down in the description box below, brandvalesky.com/hosting. That will take you right over here to Bluehost, where you can get started with web hosting for your WooCommerce site, which is a WordPress WooCommerce online store. As you can see here, they do have new online store plans up to 70% off currently, so you can save now at that link down below, brandvalesky.com/hosting, if you're interested in getting signed up. Now, of course, both of those are affiliate links. It's a great way to help out and support the channel. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the comparison of Ecwid versus WooCommerce. So, what is WooCommerce and Ecwid in the first place? Now, Ecwid originally is Ecwid, as in e-commerce widget, hence the name Ecwid, and it could be added on to any or many other online stores or websites that you maybe already have. So say, for example, you already have a WordPress website, you can actually add Ecwid onto that as well. So, but alternatively, if you want to get set up with an instant site, Ecwid also offers that as well, maybe if you don't already have a website. Now, you can get set up with a website really easily, whether it be with WordPress, starting from scratch with either of these platforms. Now, I will define what you need with each platform as well, just to kind of fully explain each of them as well. So Ecwid can be used both as a plugin in order to add it to your WordPress website, a Wix website, a Weebly website. There's a bunch of different websites that you could add Ecwid onto, or you can start with Ecwid without an existing website. You can start an instant site with Ecwid completely from scratch. So those are the two different options with Ecwid that you can set up an online store with them. Of course, you can set up an online store with them. We'll be diving into more specifics of the pricing and other comparisons as well. Now, what is WooCommerce? So WooCommerce is an e-commerce plugin for WordPress. They are specifically just a plugin that you add on to a WordPress website. That's why I mentioned Bluehost. They are a great WordPress website hosting platform that you can host your website on, and then you can add WooCommerce on there and build out your online store. As you can see here, they have the online store plans. So you need a WordPress website to then add WooCommerce to. Now, WooCommerce is free, and we'll be diving into more of the specific pricing comparisons because there are a few different things you need to consider with that as well when setting up or considering Ecwid or WooCommerce as well. So WooCommerce, again, an e-commerce platform built around the WordPress ecosystem. You can add it on to an existing website, or if you wanted to build a WordPress website from scratch, you can then add WooCommerce on to add e-commerce to your website. And in order to sell things, as you can see here, WooCommerce is a customizable open source e-commerce platform built on WordPress. So you can get started with WooCommerce. A bunch of different brands use WooCommerce. They are really one of the most popular e-commerce platforms right within that Shopify realm as well. I'd say WooCommerce is just as popular, right up there with Shopify if you're comparing just as far as popularity goes as well. And Ecwid is a great platform as well, just as far as popularity goes. They are getting more and more popular as the years go on as well. Now, diving into the specifics of pricing, because I know a lot of you guys really want the detailed pricing comparison and information as well to fully understand the differences there before we go into other specific features and things to consider with each of the different platforms as well. They are quite similar in some respects as well. So diving in to Ecwid. Now, Ecwid pricing now, of course, this pricing is accurate as in the making of today's video. Be sure to check out their pricing pages to get the most up-to-date pricing available. But Ecwid currently, of course, they have a completely free plan that's not actually a free trial. You can build out a complete website for free. Now, it is limited to only 5 products on their completely free plan, so that is something to consider. But if you're brand new to e-commerce, you're just dipping your toe in, that could be a good way to get started without any upfront cost as well, setting up an e-commerce website. Now, as you get into their, either you go with the annual, which is a way to save some money, or if you go into their monthly plans with the Venture, the Business, and the Unlimited, I will say you're going to be spending more money with Ecwid than you would be spending with WooCommerce. By and large, it's hands down not even a comparison. We'll be diving into the WooCommerce specific pricing, but because WooCommerce is essentially free and all you're really paying for is for your WordPress hosting to add WooCommerce, it's hard for Ecwid to compete on the pricing side of things. Now, that's just a plain out comparison. It will be cheaper to use WooCommerce in general, just from a purely monthly pricing comparison, just looking at that. Now, Ecwid does have a lot of their features, of course, that maybe WooCommerce you might need additional things to, or plugins to maybe add some of those additional features, because Ecwid is its own platform, and they're not just like an open source. I mean, WooCommerce is its own platform too, but Ecwid has a lot of additional paid features that come with these plans, such as, as you can see, e-goods or selling on other platforms as well. More advanced things that you may need to pay for out externally to WooCommerce that you're getting with these paid plans. So you're not paying for nothing. You are paying for additional features listed in the different plans, like I mentioned. But these are things that maybe not everybody needs, right? So that's something to consider. If you're just looking to save money, definitely just go with WooCommerce, because that's going to be your cheapest route, at least if you're going beyond just the free plan with Ecwid, which is limited, again, to only 5 products with that free plan, which is fine if you're maybe a brand new beginner and you're just looking to dip your toe in. Of course, platform-wise, they're both available on WordPress. Like I mentioned before, you can use Ecwid as an e-commerce widget to add it on to your existing WordPress website. As you can see here, this is wordpress.org. You can add Ecwid and download it and add it to your website if you're trying to use it with an existing website, which is nice just for integration's sake. Makes it quite easy to add on an Ecwid e-commerce shopping cart. However, if you are just trying to do that, honestly, you may be better, if you're not building out an entire instance site with Ecwid, if you're just adding them on as a widget, you may be better suited with WooCommerce, since they are just a free plugin that you can use to add just a shopping cart if you're just trying to add a shopping cart to your site, and you don't necessarily need all the other bells and whistles that Ecwid has to offer. So as you can see here, there are still a bunch of different things that WooCommerce has to offer as well, as far as specific features. But that is something to consider, at least if you're just looking to add a shopping cart to an existing website, if you already have a WordPress website, for example. So there's that to consider with the different platform customizations. Additionally, of course, with Ecwid, you can see you have your online store. As you go up with the more expensive pricing plans, you do get more features that you can have, such as abandoned cart emails, more integrated MailChimp or automated email marketing, different management aspects of or inventory tracking, staff accounts, things like that. Better mobile optimization. If you want your own app, you can also do that as well. That is an extra fee, as well as the number of products. Now, this is something where the number of products is not really at all limited on WooCommerce. You can add as many products as you really want. You're not limited to the products on WooCommerce. Even, so you have to go all the way up to the most expensive plan with Ecwid if you have a large catalog of products on your online store. So that's something to consider there as far as total product limitations. Now, both do have good website templates. Overall, we'll be diving into a few different examples as well in just a moment here. Just taking a look at Ecwid and WooCommerce example sites. As you can see here, recurring subscriptions. These are things, some of these features are things that you get with the more expensive plans within Ecwid that you would have to pay more for, likely with other external plugins, potentially with WooCommerce. So, out of the box, that is something else to consider as well. But by and large, both platforms are still pretty solid. when you consider the different pricing plans and the features that come with them. Again, Ecwid is just going to be more expensive by and large versus something like WooCommerce. Now, diving into some of the specific examples of online stores, as you can see here with Ecwid, we have some example web design elements from Ecwid. And I would say just because Ecwid is also available to be added to a WordPress website, in general, it's going to be fairly similar as far as the look and feel compared to a WooCommerce website, just because of their overall design elements and the way that they are built out on a website in general is fairly similar. Like, they both have a similar look and feel, and both are pretty comparable as far as that goes when you're looking at the different elements and site design that you could expect with an Ecwid website or an Ecwid e-commerce site versus a WooCommerce store. Fairly similar. Of course, it's up to you to design everything however you would want to design them. They both have website templates and different ways that you can adjust the colors. Of course, Nalgene, as you can see here, uses WooCommerce, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there's plenty of different design options and different themes as well that you could use on a WooCommerce or a Ecwid website. Now, the final comparison, I would say in general, again, WooCommerce is going to be cheaper for just adding on shopping cart. Again, if you already have a WordPress website, or maybe you don't already have a WordPress website, you can get set up with Bluehost. That's brandonvalesky.com/hosting. That will take you right over to this page here where you can get set up with WordPress and WooCommerce website and online store hosting for your website. If you're starting things from scratch, you would need a WordPress website to use WooCommerce. And WordPress is a pretty great platform overall. They really are the industry standard for building out websites in general. But if you're not interested in that, or maybe you want something kind of its own platform with an instance site, then of course you could get set up with Ecwid as well. That's linked down below at brandonvalesky.com/Ecwid. That will take you right over to this page here where you can get started with Ecwid for free. Now, in general, you know, Ecwid versus WooCommerce, both are great platforms to use for setting up an e-commerce store. They're definitely some of the more budget options that you can use for e-commerce, especially when you compare it to some of the more expensive pricing plans that Shopify or BigCommerce has to offer, or even some of the e-commerce platform options with Wix or Squarespace e-commerce and things like that. So WooCommerce is going to be your cheapest option, and the features are pretty solid in general, especially with a lot of the different WooCommerce themes that you can add. Astra is another good WordPress theme that has WooCommerce support. There's a lot of different free themes or even just pretty cheap themes in general to add to a WordPress WooCommerce site. Alternatively, you know, Ecwid is still a good platform. They are definitely a little bit more expensive once you get beyond that completely free plan that's limited to only 5 products. They start to rack up the pricing quite a bit to where they are more comparable pricing-wise just to like a Shopify or, like I mentioned before, BigCommerce, Wix, other platforms. They do have the instant site feature, which it does make things a little bit simpler, a little bit easier. Maybe if you're not as well versed in building websites, maybe if you're not comfortable with using WordPress as a platform, then maybe stick with Ecwid, as it might be a little bit more beginner friendly as far as the dashboard and user interface for you. So really, those are the two different things to weigh out. The biggest things, in my opinion, to weigh out between Ecwid and WooCommerce. Again, both are great platforms to use, but it's up to you, whichever you find maybe best for you when you're comparing, especially the pricing, the features, and maybe your overall comfort with building out websites in general. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, if you do want to get set up with WooCommerce or with Ecwid, you go and check out those links down below in the description. That's brandonvalesky.com/Ecwid. That will take you to this page here, or brandonvalesky.com/hosting. That will take you here to Bluehost where you can get set up with your WooCommerce WordPress website. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and the notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Anyway, guys, that is all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.